right, let's jump to the main slate for week 6. Who do you like at quarterback? Who you stacking with for the main slate?
So I have a couple stacks I like. The first one's Gardner Minshew and Michael Pittman, or Josh Downs. But
Ooh, yeah, Downs has been looking
Minshew,
good.
yeah, especially with Minshew because he's essentially min price at 5K. I think he's well worth that price tag. And the Colts are just going to be more pass heavy under him simply because he's not scrambling or running, 6 or 7 more times if Anthony Richardson were under center. So Colts pass catchers get a boost with Minshew under center, mainly Michael Pittman and Josh Downs. So I don't think you can go wrong with stacking him with one or both of those guys. Plus, it's a revenge game. He's playing the Jaguars, so got to throw that out there. And then the other stack I like is, Brock Purdy and Brandon Ayuk. It's obviously a tough matchup against the Browns. That's why both players are priced down quite a bit this week. But the 49ers offense looks unstoppable. This could also be a game where, they're just forced to throw a bit more since it might be a rare game where they're not blowing the team out. So Ayuk's only 6,200, and he looks matchup proof right now. I mean, he looks like one of the best receivers in the game. So again, we could still see, increased volume here, which could offset, the lowered efficiency because it is a tougher matchup. So I like going with Purdy and Ayuk here as well.
Yeah, I like that. Low total game, nice contrarian play. People aren't going to really look at that game because of the total, but we've seen every week the Niners score 30. Doesn't matter who the defense is. So,
Yeah.
And now you had the Kittle big game last week, so it's got to be Debo or Ayuk, one of those two. I feel like this week. So, yeah, like that a lot. I like Bryce Young, 5,100 on DK. With Adam Thielen at 5,900 going against the Miami Dolphins. This could be a game where the Panthers have to throw a ton. Miami's been putting up points on everybody. And Young, we finally saw him have a high volume game last week. 242 attempts, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns, also threw a couple picks. But Adam Thielen, he is really kind of, I thought he was going to kind of fade out here, and I thought, the Vikings got rid of him for good reason, but turns out like he's like the one good offseason move the Panthers made here. He's averaging 7.6 catches, 7 or more catches in each of the last 4 games. And that's been Young and Dalton one game, so it hasn't even mattered the quarterback. So in a game where the Panthers could get another 40 burger scored on them just like last week, I think you could see a similar game script. I think you could see another high volume game for Thielen and Bryce Young, and they're both, Young is super cheap, and Thielen I think is still too cheap. He's in my top 25 this week, so love that one. Also on DK, like Josh Dobbs, Marquise Brown, Zach Ertz against the Rams. On the fantasy on our projections pod on the Action Network pod, we talked about Zach Ertz, and this Rams defense is 30th at DVOA against tight ends. They're top 10 against number 2 and other wide receivers, but they're 15th against number 1. So I think Dobbs, Brown, who's only 5,300, and Dobbs is 5,200, and then Ertz is 3,600 on DK. Very affordable triple stack against a Ram team that I think can put up a lot of points on this Cardinal defense that's bottom 3 against the pass. And on FanDuel, I think Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk makes sense. Lawrence only 7,600, Kirk only 6,700. I think Kirk has the best matchup going against the zone defense of the Colts. And, the Jags always beat the Colts down in Jacksonville. So I'm expecting Trevor Lawrence to have a good game. And I think Kirk has the best matchup, and he's actually priced 300 lower than Ridley's. You could double stack him as well. Very affordable double stack, but love Kirk the most. So going with Lawrence and Kirk on FanDuel.
Love it. And yeah, it's crazy how Dobbs is just stuck at 5,200. I mean, I'll take it. He has so many stacking options. Last week, it was kind of a rough game.
Yeah,
but he still threw he threw 2 touchdowns, though. Only ran for 1 yard. That's obviously going to change this week. But don't mind him being stuck at 5,200. And, what's the latest with Kyler Murray? Is he coming back anytime soon?
I mean, I haven't, I haven't heard anything besides the update that just said he wasn't ready yet. And I mean, we kind of thought this would happen. We didn't think he was just going to come right off, week 5, week
Right.
6. So, we'll see how it goes. I'm sure they're still, they have 1 win on the year. I'm sure they're still kind of evaluating things. And,
Yeah.
If they can, kind of develop Dobbs as a nice backup while tanking, they just have a lot of options. Like you might be able to trade Dobbs now as a trade piece. Like
True.
you could tank, get Caleb Williams, and trade Dobbs, and like both of them might have value now. So I don't think the Cardinals are in any rush to bring back Murray. The last thing I think they want to do, if they're stuck on this 1 win, especially, is get Kyler hurt.
Right.
If just because if you're stuck in that win, you'd have a chance to get that draft pick. And I think they got Houston's pick too, right? I think Houston will win more games, but I personally don't think we're going to see Murray anytime soon. That's kind of what the reports have alluded to, but you never know. We'll see what happens. Okay, who do you like as dart throws on the slate?
Well, I mean, at quarterback, we already talked about him. Dobbs at 5,200, Minshew at 5K. At running back, I love Tyler Algier at 4,600. He ended up seeing more carries last week than Bijan. He had 17 attempts. He's clearly, the Falcons' backup, but they're the type of team that they have so much volume. Even Algier can get like a starter workload, especially in a potential leading game script this week against Washington. So this is one of those weeks where Algier's probably in play as like a cheap option. At wide receiver, I think Kendrick Bourne at 4,200 against the Raiders could stick out like a sore thumb if, Juju Smith-Schuster and or Demario Douglas are ruled out this week. Both are looking very shaky. Bourne will see a 90% routes run rate if either miss. And he just has a ton of upside for a guy that's only priced 4,200 facing the Raiders. So love him this week. I feel like we're always talking about the Cardinals. I have another guy for you, Michael Wilson.
Love him. Yeah.
5,300. He has yet to catch a pass this year against man coverage. He has a 2.9 yards per route run rate against zone, which ranks 9th in the league if he were to be qualified. But the Rams use a ton of zone, so this is a great matchup for Wilson. He's going to be your typical boom bust downfield guy, but this week he's more likely to boom. So love Michael Wilson this week, especially since people might be off him last week after his dud. Great time to buy low again on him. And then like you said, Zach Ertz at 3,600. It's a really weird week at tight end where there's not many good cheap options. Like K. Dotton's only $400 less than Ertz, but why would you spend down when you could just get Zach Ertz at 3,600? So it's like Zach Ertz is probably as low as I'd go at tight end. And I'm the guy that loves going dumpster diving at tight end. It's the position where you could easily get, just a cheap touchdown and you got like a GPP winner. But Zach Ertz is probably the lowest I'd go this week, and he's just a steal at 3,600. 2 games in a row now, 80% plus routes run rate. So again, it's a really bizarre week at tight end where that's probably the cheapest I'll go.
Yeah, actually, I have a guy that's $100 cheaper that I like at tight end.
Tell.
Logan Thomas.
He's
3,500 at Atlanta, 78% route participation rate in his 3 healthy games. And remember, he got cracked on that touchdown catch in that other game, and he had to leave. But he's averaging 4.5 catches, 46 yards, and he's got 2 touchdowns in 4 games. Atlanta's allowing the second most fantasy points to the tight end position, the 3rd most targets per game at 9, tied for the 2nd most catches per game, just over 7, the 5th most yards to the position per game at 63, and they're top 3 in touchdowns allowed with 3. So Atlanta has not been very good against tight ends. Thomas has been very good and has been kind of one of really Sam Howell's favorite target. He's getting targets down the field, end zone, all over the place. So that's kind of why we haven't really seen, Dotson or McLaurin really take off this year, because, Thomas is kind of eaten into both of their target shares. So I like him at tight end. At running back, Chuba Hubbard's 4,300. I think this game again, for the Panthers are just all very cheap. against this Dolphin team that, they could put up 40 plus, 50 plus even. And then you're just going to have a lot of passing to do to make up the deficit. So Chuba outsnapped Miles Sanders last week, 34-33. He's had double-digit touches in 3 of 5 games this year, 16 2 weeks ago, 10 last week. And he's probably going to be the preferred passing down back. Sanders has been getting more passing game work, but again, their usage kind of converged to a 50-50 split last week. And I think Chuba is the better pass catching back. So like his matchup, and he's just, Sanders really been struggling. Another silly running back contract. So Chuba, this Dolphin D is, bottom 10 in DVOA, bottom 10 against the run, bottom 10 against the pass. So I like targeting the Panthers. DJ Chark as well at wide receiver. He's 4K, 100% of the routes last game. So that's over 40 routes and didn't come off the field because Bryce Young, I think, had 42 attempts. And 96% route participation rate his last 3 games, averaging 3 catches for 52 yards and has 2 touchdowns in his last 3. So I think it's a good matchup. Miami playing the lowest rated zone in the league. And, Chark, he gets kind of lost in the mix against zone coverage on this team. He's 5th in targets and catches against zone. So like that Miami kind of mixes in some, match coverages and some man. I think that's where you're going to see Chark do some damage. And then a couple more. Curtis Samuel, 3,700. I'll target all these cheaper Washington guys because Samuel has been just as productive really as McLaurin and Dotson. 5+ catches in 3 of his 5 games, 50 or more yards in 4 or 5 games. So I think it's some nice leverage on some of those other guys that are probably be a little higher owned. And also don't forget about Brandon Powell. He's min priced. He's probably going to get like a 60-70% route run rate in this game because the Vikings could go more 2 tight end with Josh Oliver, but anytime they go 3 wide, Powell's going to be that third receiver. He's going to, so he's been a guy that when he's on the field, he tends to get targeted at a high rate, and he can also take some of those gadget plays. We saw Deontay Hardy have a couple downfield targets last game. I think Powell's kind of a similar play, return man, gadget guy, can take some jet sweeps, but can also go downfield and can catch some bubble screens and do that. So like Powell at min price because, people probably be on Addison, Hawkinson, even Osborne. I think Powell will be the guy that's forgotten in that passing game. And if the, let's say Cousins only throws 1 touchdown and it goes to Powell, or Powell could also catch like 5 balls, for like 50,
he could run
yards
it in for a touchdown.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways at min price. I'm definitely going to have some exposure to Powell. I think that's, I don't know exactly what his route rate will be, but I can't see it being lower than like 50%. And it could very well get into, the 70s or 80s if they continue to go 1-1 a lot.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah. How many receptions are you projecting for him? That's a question.
I actually have him at like, I think I'm at 4.
Yeah,
3.7. 3.7. Yeah. 3.7.
Yeah. Before I made any adjustments, I am like 4.7.
Yeah.
Because he gets targeted at such a high rate. But when he gets more playing time, that's obviously going to go down.
That'll go down. Yeah.
He's probably going to take, like, Addison's kind of taking over the Justin Jefferson role. He's probably taking over the Addison role. So I think he could run easily 75% routes run rate. So what I did was I elevated N'Keal Harry just to take some looks away. But if I didn't, he could easily catch 4 or 5 balls, if not more. So yeah, I'm in price. I do agree. I think he's going to be overlooked. So especially on a full PPR site like DK, he's definitely a sneaky play.
Yeah, and he, Jefferson got hurt last week. Powell ran 17 routes. I believe Harry ran 1. So, the Vikings really haven't been a team that digs deep. They don't really play their backup receivers much. So if Powell's the wide receiver 3, he's probably just a wide receiver 3. Right now I have him getting it's like 60-30, doubling up Harry, but I could easily see Powell getting 75-80 and Harry getting like 1 or 2 snaps. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
If anything,
with some more Josh Oliver, maybe. Some more Josh Oliver.
Johnny Munt and Josh Oliver getting more work. But
Nick Muse is active for once. Yeah.
Yeah, literally just 3 wide receivers running routes. That's it.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, Powell. I mean, yeah, and this year he's 33% target per route rate. So I mean, obviously that's going to
Yeah, that's Tyreek level, but that's obviously just he's just out there probably getting a design screen or something.
yeah. But for his career, I mean, the last 2022 24%, 2021 19% on
Yeah.
over 130 plus routes in each of those years. So I mean, he's a guy that you expect somewhere upwards of 20%. And there's
Yep.
no Justin Jefferson, who was just a massive target hog. So
Right.
yes, Hawkinson, yes, Addison, Osborne, but like there's still targets to go around.
Yep.
And yeah, I think Powell is the kind of the nut here, because he's gonna be a little bit overlooked. So love him. But yeah, let's build a DK lineup.
Let's kick things off with Raheem Mostert. I think they came out with this pricing before we knew
Yeah.
Achane was out, so Mostert's only 6,400. Sign me up for that.
I'll grab me some Zach Ertz at tight end at 3,600.
Well, then I'm gonna get this guy before you do. I'm going Christian Kirk at 5,400.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Sticks out like a sore thumb. That looks like the sweet spot at wide receiver this week. There's quite a few values in that range. Yeah, Kirk at
Michael Thomas, Marquise Brown, yeah.
Yeah.
Nico.
Yeah.
Addison. Ooh, Addison, 5,700. Let's do it.
Damn it! Why do I even have to put a spotlight on that range?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll stick there. I'll go with Marquise Brown at 5,300.
Yeah, love the. I mean, we didn't even talk about Democrato, the running back, who's probably going to start.
Yeah,
Keontae going on IR.
Ingram might be out too, so it could be the Mercado show. He's legit a good pass catching back.
Yep, he's been playing the pass downs over Ingram and Connor for much of the year now. So I like him as well this week. Okay, let's see. Ooh, gotta go back to Adam Thielen at 5,900.
Nice.
7+ catches in each of the last 4 and another big deficit.
Where do you I think I have him at like 5.5 catches now.
Let's see.
And it's getting up there.
Yep, 5.5 catches, 57 yards.
Yep. He deserves it. Quarterback. I think there's some really good values in that 5K range, but how about Matthew Stafford at 6,100? Let's go with him.
Love it. Give me some Travis Etienne at 7,100.
I was going there next.
Well, you already have Kirk, so I wasn't sure, but
I don't care. Give me all the Jaguars. But yeah, Etienne. My under, I think it was 950.5 rushing yards is not looking good right now. I thought if anything, Bigsby would eat in his early down work. Bigsby's week 1 fumble basically single-handedly lost that. But yeah, that bet isn't looking good. I'll go with Alvin Kamara then at 6,800. He's right there for me.
I think I took him in both lineups last week. I was like, loved it. You know, I mean, he was just like last week. It was tough running back value. This week, at least there's options. Okay, I will take the Philadelphia Eagles B 3,800 against the Jets. Got to get some Eagles against Zach here. Not a bunch of not really any cheap defenses I love, so figure I'd get defense before you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Take the one I want.
Damn. I'll round out my receivers here. I'll go with Ayuk at 6,200.
All right.
And Myles Garrett, I mean, I think he's expected to be fine. They had that bye, but he was in a walking boot. Imagine if he's out.
Yeah. I mean, like the Niners, defenses almost don't matter with this team.
Yeah, they were able to hold, Micah Parsons to a certain extent. Just that scheme is so good. So yeah, I mean, give me Ayuk at the discount because obviously it is a tough matchup, but Ayuk should probably never be below 7K ever again this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Let's go Kyron at 6,500.
Nice.
Running back, another top guy in my top 5. There's There's quite a yeah. Like I love running back this week. Just in
Oh
general.
yeah, there's so many options.
Yeah.
Especially up top. Usually, they're too overpriced, but not this week. They're all worth it. Even McCaffrey at 9,500, worth every penny. Oh man, I just need to get defense out of the way. I don't even know what the hell to do here. I mean, do I pick on Sam Howell or Bryce Young here? That's what I'm contemplating.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but it's like the Dolphins' defense is like so
right.
Like 3,500
I don't like
seems dirty for that defense.
Yeah, I like the matchup, not the defense. I guess I'll go Falcons here. Don't love it,
Yeah,
but
like
it's
that's
defense.
sneaky.
It's defense. Like
Yeah.
it's unpredictable. And yeah, like there aren't like many good cheap options. Like no one like Browns are 2,200, which is absolutely insane until you realize that they're playing the Niners, of course.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be they're interesting contrarian option, but I mean, the Niners. If the Cowboys couldn't do it to the Niners, I'd.
Right. And I would wait until like their confirmation that Myles Garrett's playing.
Right. I'll go Joe Mixon at 6,300 for the flex. He's been getting crazy. Like he's getting like 90% of the backfield carries.
Yeah.
Gets stonewalled at the goal line like 87 times last week, but love the underlying usage. He's still catching passes. Got 29 touches last week, 6,300. You can't, and a home favorite. Can't do much.
Added play volume against the Seahawks.
Oh yeah, so I forgot about that.
I was laughing.
Yep. So
I have him. I was seeing how much money I would have for tight end if I took Mixon in my flex. So that's why I was laughing. I would have had 3,900. So, oh man, but yeah, he sticks out like a sore thumb next to Mostert in that price range. Let's see. I'm gonna go with. I'll just take a tight end to just. I'll go. I mean, I have the Falcons defense, but I don't care. I'll still take Logan Thomas at 3,500. Again, well, you already took Zach Ertz, but it's a really weird week at tight end. But yeah, I do like Thomas in that price range at 3,500.
Yeah, Thomas is definitely, if you're Ertz and Thomas, that's like a nice little sweet spot.
Yeah.
I think. I'll go Curtis Samuel, 3,700 to round out my receiver core.
So I have 6,700 left. I'm really deciding between Kenneth Walker and DJ Moore. I love both. And yeah, Walker plays the Bengals, who again I pointed out that I think they're still 30th in DVOA against the run, which is bizarre because they're a good defense. DJ Reader's healthy. I don't get it, but I think you might be right. The safeties. I mean,
it's
right.
The Bengals are. I think they're like last in explosive runs allowed. I think they've been giving up a. Let's see, where are they? They
just
are
like, just chunk plays like.
Yeah, they're dead last.
10-yard runs.
I do explosives. So no, they're not. Wait, yeah, they're 32nd. So I do explosives as 12-yard runs and 16-yard passes. So yeah, they're dead last in
allowing them, correct? Like they're allowing them at a higher rate, not preventing them.
Yeah, exactly. 13.1% allowed explosive runs. 19 explosive runs on the season is a league high.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that's interesting. And I mean, DJ Moore is just going nuclear right now. Really hard to bet against him. I think, I mean, just running backs have a little bit of a higher floor. So, I mean, I'll go Walker here, but it's close. I mean, could easily go DJ Moore here if you have 6,700 left over, but I'll go Walker.
Nice, because I am going Justin Fields. So now
you
can't
nice.
you can't attach yourself.
Yeah, his main target, him and Komet. If I have one of those, I'm really plugging your Justin Fields play there.
All right, well, let's recap your lineup. What you got?
So I went Matthew Stafford as my QB. For my running backs, I went with Raheem Mostert and Alvin Kamara. At wide receiver, I went with Christian Kirk, Marquise Brown, Brandon Ayuk. At tight end, I went with Logan Thomas. Flex, I went with Kenneth Walker, and my defense is the Falcons up against the Commanders.
I got Fields at quarterback, 7,300 against Mini. ETN 7,100 at running back against the Colts. Kyron Williams 6,500 at running back against the Cards. Wide receivers are Thielen at 5,900 at Miami. Addison at 5,700 at Chicago. Samuel 3,700 at Atlanta. Zach Ertz is my tight end, 3,600 at the Rams. Joe Mixon at home against the Seahawks in the flex for 6,300. And the Eagles defense at Zach Wilson and the Jets, 3,800. All right, that is going to wrap it up for this week's Fantasy Flex Fantasy Preview episode. Be sure to check out our night shift episode, which will drop on Friday. We'll break down the London showdown slate and the Sunday night Giants Bills, Monday night Chargers Cowboys DFS slates as well. London game is Titans and the Ravens. And of course, our player projections episode is out now over on the Action Network podcast channel. That's where we go through our top ranked players at each position, guys we're high and low on, and throw out some props as well. actionnetwork.com for all of our NFL fantasy and betting content, fantasylabs.com for our DFS tools and models. You can find Sean on X at @_oddsmaker. I'm at Chris Raybon, and we're at those same handles on the free award-winning Action Network app. Until next time, let's get this money.